Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining today. We're super happy to have you. We'll just wait maybe like another minute for people while they join. I see the numbers going up, and then we'll be able to start. So I think most people are here. So let's start with the introduction. And anyways, it will be recorded. So if ever you missed a part or you want to send it to a colleague or whoever wasn't able to attend, we'll be able to send the link. So again, thank you everybody for being here today. We're super happy to have Taylor Swasey here with us today for this demo with the Service Hub. It was recently revamped, so there's a lot of new stuff. We're super happy to be able to show you. And as a quick intro, as Parkour 3 is a diamond partner with HubSpot, we have the great chance of having Taylor as our channel account manager. So we work very closely with her. You'll see she's amazing. For those who have never heard a demo by Taylor or have never had one of our webinars with Taylor. So without further wait, I'll leave Taylor with the demo. Thanks, Taylor.
Oh, no problem. Thanks. Appreciate it. So yeah, before I kind of dive into the tools, I thought I might just go over quickly about the key features, and then I can send that deck around after as well. And then we can dive deeper into the tools too. So I'm going to share my screen. Second. Okay. Can you see that, MJ? So I'm assuming everybody else can.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. So yeah, as MJ said, we have actually revamped or relaunched our Service Hub and adding a lot of great additive tools and increasing or improving a lot of our tools. So I just wanted to go over a couple of those features and then we can dive into it a little bit more as well. Great. So there's three kind of components we like to think about for our service side of things. A lot of people think of service maybe as, just support. Maybe some people think of it as customer success, but really we look at it as kind of three areas. One is that help desk feature. So being able to have IT support or ticketing, being able to actually be able to see kind of like the customer portal and other things like that, which is more of kind of that focus on that support side of things. The other section would be omni-channel service. So being able to have a way to communicate throughout all departments and pass along information through either like chatbots or through inbound calling or through, surveys or other things like that, because it doesn't just have to be for that customer success or customer service or support side. It can actually go across all different channels. So we're going to go into a little bit of that. And then finally, the third kind of service solution that we provide is that fully integrated CRM automation. So having all those pieces together, like the tickets and the surveys, but then also being able to really create those SLAs, those service analytics, and really be able to make sure that you're doing a great job for your customers. But if there's any cross-sell or upsell opportunities, you see that as well. So really the Service Hub is there to put your customer at first. So as you look at it, those three components, either it's a help desk, it's having some of that automation, or really being able to connect to all the departments together. And so that you're delivering good service, that you're getting ahead of anything that might have issues, and really being sure that you're doing a great job for your customers, but also expanding your services within that. So we'll go over a few of these where the help desk is, talking a little bit about the shared inbox, customer views, knowledge base and other things. Some of the newer benefits of our shared inbox that I'll be showing you is it's a little bit more streamlined. So not only is it just going to be showing you about our inbox where you interact with forms, chats, emails, and other things, but now it's really easy to switch over and call a customer really quickly, email them, or even chat them, or even chat to others internally as well to make sure you're giving the best service for your customers. We've been able to now customize a little bit more for you as well. So making sure that when you go in there, it's really efficient and effective for your team, being able to have different folders and different views. And then also being able to see who is actually viewing. So who is going to be jumping on, making sure there's not anybody doing double duty or answering the client twice, but being a little bit more organized in that process too. Then we have our mobile inbox, which is super new. So not only we're going to be showing a lot of the CRM features today, but on our mobile app, you can also be able to initiate conversations with your customers through that inbox, but on your mobile phone as well. So as we're all out remote and on the go, you still be able to really help out individuals as they're going through that process, or if they have any issues, or just making sure that you're answering any questions. Finally, the knowledge base has been there for a while, but we've improved it a bit more, searching capabilities, being able to get some more reporting, being able to use that for other areas as well. So taking in some of the information that you get from what people are looking at a knowledge base that are really helping customers help themselves, but providing that those keywords and that information that even marketing could then use. So really bringing it full circle for your entire business. And newly, which I'm really excited about, is our customer portal. So this is a great way to interact with their customers. They can see where their tickets are, they can upload information, they can communicate to your customer success managers or your support team. It can also be used to track onboarding. And within the portal, it's really a great way for the whole company to either see their tickets or individuals as well. So they don't have to always constantly be, looking out for an email or anything like that. They can sign in and actually have that communication. Now, as far as our omni-channel services, I mentioned, some of those tools that can be used in a variety of different ways throughout the platform. We have our live chat, which you'll see a little bit more of in our inboxes as well, being able to communicate right there as people are coming onto your site, being able to route that to the right people so that if it's a service conversation, it's going to the service team and not the sales team, and vice versa. Chatbots, being able to take some of that time off your service team or your sales team, being able to answer some of those typical questions that you get so that your service team can be more effective and efficient. And then when it's time to take over, they can jump in. But this really helps to get a lot of those answers out there so that you're not just answering every live chat, but the ones that really need to go to a person, but also if you're off hours too, that they still get answers in some way or another. And then what's really exciting now is we've had surveys for a while, but with the chat, we can actually pop it up in the chat after the chat is done. So before the chat would end, you would send out a survey through email. Now you can actually make it within the chat, making it easier for your customers, or even if you use this as far as like a sales tool, your prospects as well. And you tend to get better feedback at the time, because it's real time, than waiting for an email or an email to get lost in someone's inbox. Facebook Messenger integration we've had for a while, but we're continuing to, obviously work through it, make it better, but we'll go over that a little bit as well, that people are still using, and that goes right into our service station as well. Inbound calling, which is super new and super exciting. So we've always been able to call out through HubSpot, but now we can actually have calls come in. So for instance, you can get different numbers. And so those numbers, your team can actually call out from. And if somebody is going to return that call, it will go to it could go to someone's cell phone, or if you have a VoIP system, it will come into that based on the number that it is. So therefore, you can actually get calls coming in instead of just calls going out. And that can be also used for like marketing initiatives by putting numbers on there so you can track that, or even for the sales team too, because you can get different area codes for customers that might be in a certain area code that you might not be in, so that they're more comfortable answering that phone as well. Conversation intelligence, it just keeps on improving. This is great because this is where you can start to transcribe your calls. You're able to send snippets out of a call if you want a manager or anybody to listen to it, or even use for some good training material. But on top of that too, you can even start to pull reports of keywords. So this is great for the service side to see, okay, how frequently are we hearing an issue? How frequently are we hearing a certain term? So that therefore we can report on that and maybe get ahead of that issue. Or on the sales side, how frequently hearing certain terms or certain initiatives, and then therefore we can use that for marketing as well to actually market out to individuals too. So it really comes full circle in the platform. And then finally, the fully integrated CRM automation. This ties in that third piece that I mentioned. So we have our ticket pipeline that can be used for obviously support tickets, but it can also use to track onboarding, projects, a lot of other various options as well. So we'll dive into that a little bit more and really understanding, how we look at different pipelines and how we can utilize that. ticket and a help desk automation. So bringing in that automation so that it's not constantly being manual. So if somebody needs to be escalated based on certain things, you can do that automated. Or if after a ticket goes to a certain stage, a certain email can kick off, or after a ticket closes, a survey can take off. So creating a lot of that automation so it's not just on your team to make sure they remember to do it, but it's automatically done based on different stages or based on even different pipelines. SLAs, which is super new for us, that we can actually really target these a little bit better. We didn't have the ability to target this as well as some other companies. So we're really excited about this. This is really where you're able to kind of put those priorities of when do you first reply, when do you first close, and then reporting on that to make sure your team is falling in that, so that you can make sure your office hours, what you report on, is actually during the time people are working and not just the whole time that the actual tickets, chats, or anything like that is actually running. Customer feedback surveys we had before, but this is just constantly improving. So we're giving a little bit more flexibility with our custom surveys. We're also giving a little bit more flexibility in our customers and some of our other NPS scores as well. So we'll dive into that too. The custom surveys too. And finally, service analytics. So we have some pre-built service tools, reporting that's already built as you join HubSpot. So you don't have to make those constant customized reports, and you'd be able to manipulate these, put them on dashboards, and use them as well. So now we're going to dive a bit more into the individual tools, and as you're seeing it in the portal. So as I'm going through it, I'm just going to kind of pull up some, give some use cases around it. Obviously, after this, if you have specific use cases you want to look into, definitely reach out to Parkour. We can set up a call with all of us, or we can actually send over vidyards or anything that you can see as well. But since we have a short amount of time, I just want to kind of show some of the use cases, not everything.
And Taylor, would you be comfortable if people want to ask questions while you're looking at certain sections, or would you rather we wait at the end?
Sure, that would be fine. I just want to be conscious of the time as well, because I'm sure everybody does have a hard stop, and unfortunately I do too. So
absolutely
totally fine.
No problem. But if you have a question, please just use the chat bot, and we'll either Taylor or I see the questions. So
if you can be in charge of seeing the questions, that would be great, because my
perfect
is on this screen and on the other screen, so I'll totally miss it.
Perfect. Let's do it that way.
Great teamwork there. Perfect. Great. So as I'm diving in, I'm going to dive in to HubSpot. And the first thing I always like to look at, kind of prioritizing my day, making sure I understand how everything's working, is jumping into those dashboards. So whether you've been in HubSpot before and you might be on a different tool, or you've never seen HubSpot before in your life, dashboards are a really key feature where it helps you keep organized and be able to see and compare and analyze multiple reports in one area instead of having a million tabs like I have up right now, or Excel spreadsheets. So a lot of those reporting that I mentioned, service analytics and things like that, can be pulled into a dashboard, or you can create them a little bit more customizable. So as you see here, this is like an onboarding dashboard. One of the other ways that you might want to use the Service Hub instead of just support tickets. So as I'm going through this, I can actually see, okay, how many emails, meetings that my team has done, understand like where they are in different pipelines post-sale. So how are we onboarding them? How are we working with them? How are they progressing as a customer? To actually looking at, meetings booked, and really just giving a full overview of how the customer success team or the support team is doing as they continue to interact with customers. So if I see any kind of alarming numbers or anything else, I can instantly, reach out to an individual or a team and say, hey, can we work on this or set up a meeting? The other thing too with this is you can also share it right away through email or Slack, or you can create a reoccurring email where then your team or the executive team or just yourself can have an email come every day, maybe once a week, so that you're looking at this to really understand how everything's progressing. And if there's anything that needs fixing, you can get ahead of it. Another example right here being a more of like looking at support side of things, looking at how tickets are coming in from, how long it's taking for people to get to the tickets or to be resolved. So a lot of ways that you can put this all together to really make sure you're ahead of everything and being on top of it. Now, since Service Hub is connected obviously to our CRM, because everything's connected based on the CRM in HubSpot, you can very easily go in and look at, the contacts that you have in your database. And even within those contacts that you have, and whether your sales team is looking at this, your marketing team, each of the teams can have their own views to stay organized. So as you see here, I made a ticket view. And these ticket views can be filtered really easily based on, if somebody's a customer or the number of tickets they have, or maybe if they're high priority or how the tickets come in or the activity that they're having on the website, so that you can stay organized as you're coming into the CRM. And if these are high priority tickets, you can go and work them right away, even before you get to your ticket side. That's one thing about HubSpot, because everything's connected. You can reach the same result, whether you're doing it through the CRM or actually going right to tickets. So from here, I can create a task either for myself or for someone else on my team to either call that individual, email them, and I can send a reminder out 3 days from now or a day from now. So I know these are hot tickets or priorities, so I can actually assign it to someone right away and say, can you please get on this? At the same time, maybe I have a view that's showing just all my tickets in general. And I know that, okay, these tickets were created at the same time. So I want to set a task or a reminder to follow up in 3 days if I haven't heard from them. So that's where I can go into tasks and actually go through everybody that I need to be talking to, following up with, and keeping really organized with that. So this is something that's used between sales and the customer service or customer success team to really keep them organized and align with who they need to reach out to. And this can also be an assembly line to make it so that they go to the contact record, they can see any communication they had with the individual, they can see if there's any other tickets with the individual or any other deals out there, and then they perform the task, they complete it, and it goes to the next one. So making it very streamlined for people to be really organized as they're going through their tasks, whether it be about tickets or onboarding or following up with someone or anything like that. So some of you, again, that might be familiar with HubSpot, might have seen this before as our contact record. And again, making it very organized for the whole team. A contact record connects everything. So all the activity that someone's having, but someone from your customer success team can come in and actually filter out what's important for them. So for instance, what do you need to see as you're making sure that this individual is somebody that you do need to reach out to? So maybe you want to look at their feedback submission, see if their feedback's on positive. Maybe you want to also look at, some of the email that they're opening. And at the same time, as I'm coming in to call Morgan, I can also see if like the sales team is also talking to them about, any deals that are out there, if there's multiple tickets that he's having, anything that I would need to know before I call him to make sure I'm calling him for the right reasons. And there's nobody else I should involve in case like there is an issue that arises, or if it's just a simple check-in. The other place that, most of the customer success does stay in very frequently, because it's, again, one place for forms, tickets, chats, everything else, is our inbox. So within the conversations, we have our inbox. And an inbox is connected to like a group email. So anything like info at, help at, so that those group of people that should be answering that email actually all fall into here. So for instance, you have all your, we look at kind of first all the chats that are coming in. So you can see chat bots, so you can easily take it over if it's time to take it over. You can also see anybody that's like open, so they're not assigned yet, that you might want to, get on. Anything that's assigned to me. And then you can start to look at your tickets. So anybody that's interacting with a ticket, some of your priority tickets, or even looking at some emails. So they really don't have to leave here because they can see the emails that are coming into that help at, they can see the chat bots, the chats, everything's in one place. And as you take something over, say this email, I can very easily, okay, great. So I found out that they have these questions. I reached out to Stephanie and Tom because they were the original ones working it. So they told me no problem, take it over. The actual client won't see anything in yellow, but you can have that internal communication because especially people aren't sitting next to each other anymore. So you want to make sure that multiple people aren't answering them. But if I find that it's urgent, then I can click over from like doing an email to them to immediately clicking over and calling them. So before we would have to step out of here and go to the contact record. Now you can call right from the inbox. And you can choose which number you want to call from, and then which number you want to call to. Once you're done with that, you can flip right over to email. Same with chat too. So if you're in the middle of a chat, you can, and somebody asks for you to email something, instead of jumping into their contact record, I can click over to email. I can email this, send it, and then I can jump right back over to chat and continue to chat. Or if it's really urgent, I can also pick up the phone and call them right away. And then as soon as we're done, I can follow up on chat too. So staying in one place, making it more efficient and effective to make sure that the people that you're helping actually get a good result from it too. And you'll be able to see as well all the information about the contact too. So any deals that they have, just like you're in a contact record, but you're actually interacting in the actual chat or email or ticket or anything like that. And you'll be able to see who's viewing it too, to make sure that they know that you're working on it as well. So jumping over to the actual ticket, now within tickets, you can have multiple pipelines. So for instance, you can use tickets for onboarding that's progressing the onboarding after a customer comes over. You can have a different pipeline for, support inquiries, which will obviously have different stages as well. So these different pipelines can really organize your teams and what they need to do. You can also organize the pipelines by different, areas, not just by like support or onboarding, but maybe you want to do it by teams or type of ticket. It's really up to you on however you need it organized that you can create those pipelines. And when you're creating those pipelines, you have you can drag and drop the tickets as they're going to make it really easy to move it to the next section. But you can create a checks and balances to make sure once the ticket hits that stage that you did get the information you need before it goes on to that stage. So just making sure that your team is getting the right information as it's progressing the ticket. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of this can be automated as well. So for instance, if we had, sorry about that. If you had an escalation with a ticket, so say you were on a ticket record that looks very similar to a contact record that we were just on as well, and you were communicating back and forth with this individual and you found out you really need to escalate it. They're not happy, they would like to talk to someone, or this is really important because it's time sensitive. You would be able to, escalate the ticket over here. And then that could trigger a workflow that then creates a task for another individual to take over. Say it's more technical than you have. So then it could create a task for that individual. Or it could also change, the association of the priority of the ticket. Or maybe it changes it to a different pipeline because you have a high priority pipeline. And then based off of the communication or how those also interact, maybe it's a certain company. So that company goes to a certain high level escalation versus another company. And so you can start to really granularly make sure that that escalation of the ticket is going into the right hands and it's really taken care of the right way. Because as we know, sometimes there are certain companies in certain industries that need a specific type of, escalation versus, another company in industry, or based on what type of escalation, whether it be, based on a technical escalation or based on, say they want to talk to an executive, they can send them down different paths. And it's very automated in that process. So one, that individual doesn't forget, leaves it on their to-do notes. Okay, I have to pass this off. They just click a property, high priority or escalation, and it just triggers that automation to make it more fluid and make sure the right people know, whether it's sending a Slack notification or changing the property within the ticket or sending out an internal email notification. And you can put them down different paths as well. So making it more efficient, effective, and then obviously getting the answer quicker for your client. The other thing that we do have in here that is very helpful as well for onboarding, but also for how to handle certain situations for support, are playbooks, which are at enterprise level. And so for instance, if somebody is doing onboarding with you, you can have a playbook about what the person should go over during that onboarding. So before the call, what they should be doing, what questions they should be asking, and making it very easy for them to trigger and not having to just write notes, because obviously some people, me included, might spell wrong, or, they might not be clear, but they will put down the right answers here. And then once this playbook is logged, it can actually go into and add to these different properties. So for instance, what is the core actions needed to be completed? It would go into these properties and that could trigger automation. So for instance, a deal needs to be created because they're talking about other products or services. So having that go in there, it can trigger a workflow to create that deal and then let the salesperson know, making it very easy for the passing back and forth of clients within the two departments so that it's very seamless and there's not a lot of, processes where it might fall through the cracks. At the same time, it will help like a new person or even just somebody who's been around for a while that might have a lot of balls in the air and juggling a lot of different things to make sure they're getting all the information they need, either during the onboarding process or during a support. So kind of going back to that tickets. So we have our ticket pipeline within internally, which we can see, and we can automate a lot of that, changing of different stages, adding different emails that get sent out, sending out different customer success surveys, But we want to help make this visible for our clients as well, so they can interact very easily, so that it's not an email that might get put to spam, or they're like, on chat, and then all of a sudden they're asking about their ticket and they're all of a sudden going off because their child's running away, or, and they can't get their answer. So therefore, we have what's called a client portal that can be added. And this can be used for a variety of different ways. The client portal, and it's something that you can really customize. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit over a cold, so we'll take a little in my throat a little bit more. But you can really customize it based on who can see it, what do you want them to be able to see. You can even template it out to like how you want it to be visible. And then once you make that portal, the client or the customer will have a password and a username that can sign in. Once they sign in, they can actually see the ticket, the subject, when it was created, when was the last activity, if it's open. And then when they open that ticket, they can start to communicate back and forth. And so therefore, if you automate something like, we need to see, like if it's onboarding, we need you to send over your paperwork or your W-9 or anything like that, they could go into their portal, see that that task is something they need to do, and then they just come here and attach the file and then send it. And then once that's sent, that's going to be triggered to the person handling this into their ticket. So when they're in their ticket, that person handling it will get the alert. And then they can actually respond within the ticket or within the customer success, the inbox. So they can either respond right into the inbox because they can go to all tickets and respond there, or they can go into the individual over ticket. And as they respond there, it will then show back up into that client portal. So it's a really easy way for your clients to go and check on the status of their onboarding, check the status of their ticket. Some people I've even seen this as like how they actually put out leads to partners. So a lot of interaction that they can do without having to lose it in their email or get on a phone call or anything like that. Everything can be automated through workflows and the client portal. Moving a bit along now. So as I mentioned, we did have surveys before, but we've also, created some new attributes to it. So you have your custom surveys, which can be very customized, putting stars, or you want smiley faces, or 1 through 10, open-ended questions. So you can get a lot of good feedback here. And then we also have our customer support, our customer satisfaction, and customer loyalty ones. With these, at the same time, you have different variations of if you want to send it out through an email, or the satisfaction one can pop up on your website as people are scrolling a certain amount of time, or it can pop up in your chat as well, along with email. And then through that, you can get very personalized and customized here as well, because you'll be able to put the, who is it from, the address that you want it to reply to, the subject line where you can even put in personalized tokens. The email body that's going out through, of course, if you're doing it by email, but obviously if it's chat or popping on the site, it would be a little bit different, but really customizing and making the experience personalized for that individual. And then with the feedback, you'll have, for instance, this one is a customer satisfaction survey. So they have you choose which one, and then they can even tell us more about that and fill in more information. And you have different questions for each one. And then even the thank you can be different for each one as well, whether it be a different image, different body contacts. And then you can decide, when do you want to send this out? So when they first become a customer, if they join a list, or even just based on different properties. So for instance, if somebody buys a new product and they were already a current customer, how did that sales experience go? If somebody just finished onboarding, how did the onboarding go? If somebody even just like increased their services on the other products that they already have, or they added a new person, anything like that. They changed owners because maybe someone changed positions within your company internally. How was the exchange of communication done? All that can be done just based on properties as well. And then once you send it out, you can also automate that too. So based on their answers, you can then create, tasks for people to follow up, sending internal notifications, slacking an individual. Hey, you might want to call this person. They're really unhappy. Or if they are happy, maybe you're sending out an email of like 10% off codes, or maybe it's, can you go fill out a Yelp review? So not only does it just stop when you get the answers and then you can report on that, but it also is able to nurture that relationship even more. And then also to help your customers, I am one of those that truly do love knowledge bases. I am on the phone all day long, so calling customer support is not something what I love to do. Chats, I am that person that will get distracted, and I'm the person that says, ma'am, are you still there? So then that's a waste of time too for me. But when the company has a knowledge base, that's huge for me because it means I can find my answer by myself. So a knowledge base is basically where you can put your FAQs, but it can also be things like if you have an open API, or if there's questions about educational programs or videos. So this is really where you can add that kind of context in there by using it as a FAQ, but it can even be an educational platform about how to use your product, or it can be an educational platform about how billing goes. So you can have those different sectors in here that people can click on and then be able to search what they're looking for as well. And then when they search, also just in a Google search with your name in it, your knowledge base will pop up and help a lot of that too, because then you will actually be able to see how you're helping people, not just outside of your current customers, but if that's helping draw people to your actual site as well. If you cannot find the answer, you can easily submit a ticket right from here. So it's all connected, or go to your customer portal as well. So everything's interlinked there so that it's really easy for your customers to either go to a specific ticket, create a ticket, or find the information that they need. And then you'll be able to see, okay, what articles are working, what's really helpful, unhelpful, how many views you getting, how is this coming up in searches? And then your marketing team can actually use this information to start to create new content even as well, based off of keywords or topics. And then also you can see, if people are asking a lot of questions about things that should be going through the sales process or onboarding process, maybe there's a disconnect there that you need to work on too. So a lot of great information to help not just, somebody, a current customer, but it's really helping the overall company to really understand the industry, what they're looking for, what your company needs to work on better, but also some of the key factors of marketings or blogs that you can create. See how many total searches you come up for, the terms, and even the most searches too. Finally, we have the service analytics that I mentioned. So these are pre-built reports that as soon as you come into HubSpot, we'll start collecting this for you. So although we have some great customized reports that you could use and pre-built dashboards, this is really something that everybody was having to create that we create for you and that you can manipulate based on how you want to see them, or even save them to a dashboard. So you can come and see like, what's the average ticket time to close? How fast are people getting to chats? The support volume, so how many times it might be reassigned or how many times we might have missed it, who's actually working on the different tickets. Ticket time in the pipeline, so how long are tickets taking to actually close? And then even the customer satisfaction surveys would populate in here too. Now, the only other thing that we haven't gone over yet is that chat bot too. So we are able to create the live chats and chat bots, and then Facebook Messenger. So if we're looking at, editing right here, this is where you can start to use a chat bot to start to really gather information, answer questions faster than maybe one of your customer success managers can, or at the same time, taking away some of those questions that constantly are being asked that are taking up way too much time for your customer success when they're supposed to be focusing on other things, or your support team. So when you're building one, you can come in here and actually have like the questions based on the answers. Then they can fill in, the different types of the information, and that can be saved to the CRM based on their information too. It can look up things like, okay, great, I want to know a little bit about this. Well, I'm going to go look up a knowledge base that can be added there. Or even based on the answers to the question, you can create different branches about how they can get routed. So whether it be, okay, we need to route it to a live person, or we can continue to pull it down the path of the knowledge base, or pull it down the path of answering the questions as well. So you can start to really make some granular interactions with these chatbots, so they can start to really make sure that you're being efficient in answering questions, but also your teams being efficient in their time.
I think that's pretty much what you wanted to show for today, Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. If anybody have questions, don't be shy. We're happy to answer. We know some of you may be using HubSpot already. Maybe you're even already using the Service Hub, maybe not. So depending on where you're at, of course, the questions could be a little different. If ever you have questions after this demo, as Taylor said at the beginning, we're in constant communication with her. So we're more than happy to answer those questions. If you'd rather ask them offline, that's not a problem. And we're there to help. And if we can't help directly, again, Taylor will be there. So I'm not seeing any questions coming in. I guess it was really clear, Taylor, but maybe I can wait like another 30 seconds in case some people are typing. I'm just gonna see if any are coming in.
So I just saw inbound calling. So inbound calling is already available. It is in beta that you can be turned on to. So we can definitely, if you're already in the Service Hub, we can look in turning that beta on for you as well. But it is available to use.
And if ever some of you have questions in French, don't hesitate. I can translate for Taylor. I forgot to say at the beginning, but the whole reason why this webinar has been in English is Taylor is based in Boston. She's at the head office of HubSpot, so that explains the demo in English.
And I'm also terrible with languages.
We have another question that just came in. Do you have any migration tools to migrate from Zendesk to HubSpot?
So migration, so getting rid of HubSpot, I'm assuming what you're saying. We do have an integration with Zendesk, so a lot of people use that to pull the information over to HubSpot. And then we also have some great agencies like Parkour 3 that can also help you with that process as well. But just the integration or working with an agency are the two best ways to do that.
Perfect. Thanks, Taylor. I hope that answers this question. If not, again, please don't be shy, don't hesitate. Assuming there's no more questions. So in that case, we can wrap this up. If you have questions, don't worry, I'll interrupt you to interrupt me. But yes, basically what we'll do is we'll send your deck that you presented at the beginning, Taylor. We'll also send the recording. And again, repeating myself, please don't hesitate if you have any questions after the demo. We're more than happy to help you. So there's no more questions that came in. I guess we can say, see you next time. Thank you so much, Taylor, and have a very good day for the rest of your day, everyone.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Bye.
Bye.